I know Stock Market Nerd had actually accounted for his like actual net worth, and SoFi is now more than like
Oh,
5% of his actual net worth. Is that true?
But does he
Tanner?
know his actual net worth? Is that
See, that's
public?
that's the thing. I don't know how he calculates it, but that's what he said. Um,
so I mean, there's been a couple things that have happened in Noto's life that have been tracked. For example, he does have 125 million some odd dollars in Twitter shares. Whether or not he rolled over partial amounts, I think these purchases in recent times show us that he probably did some selling of Twitter shares. Where is he coming up with all this money? Considering the last 6 months he hasn't put in a dime. Um, and also he's only taking away, net of his salary about 700,000 some odd dollars from SoFi. He's not printing money, but in his lifetime he's made, the 125 million from Twitter. Goldman Sachs paid him like 75 million dollars one time for this merger thing. That was his cut. And so he's made money in other places. Who knows what else he has in investments? I mean, people can make money all over the place. So it's really, really hard to value. But he is starting to make some great purchases. I'm sure he's even purchased between now and December 16th, because if we look, maybe I can even show you guys the data sheet here. As he was doing his purchases back in, let me see if I can zoom it in so everyone can see it a little bit better. As he used to do his purchases, they're 3 days apart, all the way down throughout months. So whenever he's in a buying mood, he buys for long periods of time. Like he really DCAs in for that month. So whenever we look back and we can actually see that, what he was doing in December could be following that trend. He could be buying on the 18th, the 20th, who knows? Like there could be many more millions to come. And is that going to see the same love as what we're expecting? Who knows? But he's definitely increasing his total value, everything along these lines. So very, very exciting. But if you guys are ready, anything else on that? Because I wanted to talk about some other things, but let's stick on this for a sec.
So how many? So these are only the share. These are common stock purchases. That doesn't include anything else like that the company gave him, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you do
Sorry, what's
up? Can you do a total on the shares quickly?
Yep. Yeah. So that would be the 26 million is his total value of his holding of SoFi.
Of his shares. Okay. Gotcha.
That's dollar value.
Yeah. Dollar
yes,
value.
That's dollar value. His total shares underneath. And then the chart, what you're seeing, he's actually purchased, he's added almost $11 million, which like 7 or almost 8 million of that has come in, or sorry, 7.4 million has come in just this month. So he is,
it's not bad,
jumping
man.
in. That it's way bigger than people give it credit for. I mean, he's not burning his money, in a dumpster. Like this is him making bets on the macro environment. This is him making bets on, the stock and what they're doing on the back end. If and Riley's going to go into Galileo and Technisys later in this video, but if it is absolutely falling apart and we're not getting the deals that we want to, why would he be doing this and making all these purchases, even though a third of our business has gone to crap? I don't believe it. I think this is insane confidence.
A lot of the stuff that was really like unsure about SoFi was like the bank charter, a lot of this student loan scare. But now that they have Technisys, they have Galileo, they have the bank charter. I think Anthony Noto said a couple months, the only thing that's standing in SoFi's way is themselves. And like all they have to do is operate successfully. And if they can get through this macro, like they're going to be successful on the other side. And I don't know, it looks like it. It looks like he's putting his money where his mouth is.
And plus, like he DCAs for like long periods. So it's just, I mean, we are going to be looking into, is he going to buy more before the end of the year? But he's going to still keep buying in 2023, right? Like that's pretty much a given, which coincidentally makes me wonder so much more why there was that 6-month blackout period where he didn't buy for that long. Because, he bought in June, but that was as a result of a DCA process that started in January. So he was buying, I think, every single month, maybe Tanner to keep me honest, but every single month from January on to June. And then he just stopped for like 6 months and started buying in December again.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
I took it down too quick, but
he started buying like days before they released their buy now, pay later, SoFi Pay in 4. So they were all heads down working on that, trying to get that SoFi product out. And then as soon as like right before it released, Noto puts 5 million into SoFi. So I don't know. That's something interesting.
well, I definitely don't think he's putting this money in due to a catalyst. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to try to put himself anywhere in the sights of the SEC to say, hey, you know what? I
Mhm.
was doing insider buying, or sorry, like insider trading, in any regard. And he's made that clear on some interviews as well, just saying, hey guys, I had some additional capital. I was throwing into something that I believe in long term, and that's the end of that. You know, but that's also why I'm buying SoFi, right? I'm not doing this as some sort of event-driven trade. I'm buying this for the long term. So if we are sort of seeing eye to eye, and he's running the ship, it's an exciting, thing to see. So yeah, the same sort of pattern happened every month here. June, he was buying all the way down. May here wasn't as fruitful, but then March here was also quite a lot of purchases. Now we're starting to see it happen again here in December, and hopefully, that continues forward. But do you guys want to? We're not going to watch one of my YouTube videos.
Why not? Let's do. I haven't seen the newest one. We should do it on the stream.
Well, it was an amazing video. Very low edit though. I actually
How long was it?
Got out of Adobe. I left Premiere Pro.
It was 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
No, this one was like 10 or something.
Oh yeah, we're not watching that.
So the edit was really crappy because I was getting used to a new software. But anyway, whenever what I spoke about here was website traffic. Now, did anyone have anything to say about the other one, or can I jump right into this? Everyone excited to just move on?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. With website traffic, okay, this is based on desktop traffic that we saw, and I sourced it through TipRanks. Okay, their mobile data is absolutely shot. It's terrible. I don't know why, but you can see companies like SoFi and Affirm where just month over month they'll see a 99% drop in their mobile traffic, which obviously is not true.
Error.
Yeah, it's obviously not true because we still saw the exact amount of expected member growth and everything along these lines. So it's bogus. But the desktop traffic across the board from everything I could see seemed pretty legit. And so that's what I wanted to do. Now, whether or not that's a large part of the actual business, people using the desktop, I don't know what it is. 5, 10, maybe 15% of the users use desktop.
No way. It's like 2%. Everybody uses the app.
Well, I don't think it's 2%. We're seeing 2 million people per month going onto these apps. Like, I don't think it's 2%, But then again, maybe it is, right? If it is 2%, if we actually look at the website traffic of what TipRanks does show for mobile to desktop, it's actually about 30%, but I just don't believe that that's even accurate. But that being said, whenever we look at this, comparatively to our competitors, because this can only mean a survey for a certain percentage of our audience, but hopefully that survey shows us a better usage pattern for our app people. Although I feel like the app would probably be easier to log into and use. But as you can see, monthly active users for Robinhood has gone down, and so has their desktop traffic, showing a very different picture than SoFi, right? And then I also looked at a couple other names here as well. Upstart also seeing a downtrend. However, slightly, they tried to hold up, but just didn't quite make it. Ally Financial, Warren Buffett's baby, still down slightly, but almost stagnant, but still a little bit of a decline. There definitely is a standout here. Now, I tried to get Lending Club and Nubank. I thought that those would be also some great competitors to look at as well. They just didn't have that information on TipRanks. I didn't want to source it from somewhere else and mix it in with this data and kind of get, a wrong comparison. So I sent them an email. Hopefully I'll get it and I'll show you guys whenever that uploads or whenever that updates. But yeah.
So kind of interesting here. A couple of points just to jump in on, and then we can hand it off to Mitt or Riley. First of all, I think we have to take this with not a grain of salt, but a spoonful of salt, because this only measures how many people landed on SoFi.com. And like, I'm on SoFi.com right now, but I physically am in a location where I cannot sign up for their service. And so imagine how many people fall into that cohort, automatically, discounted in terms of watering down that correlation of one website traffic user equals one potential user to convert, because there's so many people who just visit SoFi.com for whatever reason. The second point I want to make on that is,
but that would be the same across the board, right? There would be people just visiting Robinhood.
It's a general point around all website traffic data. The second point I want to make that's SoFi specific is, I'm curious actually to see how December would come in because of options and the buy now pay later. Both of those were released over the last month, and both of those were highly anticipated commercial releases that people were looking for. I mean, options is something that a lot of people were, wanting to compare SoFi to Robinhood 1-to-1, but obviously SoFi lost on all those comparisons because they didn't have options, which is like table stakes for the space that they play in. And also buy now, pay later, I feel like that was a very hyped up B2C offering. So those two, I would imagine, would boost up December's numbers. Which would also help towards like that thesis of, okay, well, if we're having more website traffic, how does that play to conversions? And to try to draw some signal from all that noise in terms of, a ratio of conversion, like a conversion rate from website traffic. But there's so many different, pages that they can drop off. When I worked on, and currently on analytics, like the homepage is something that, especially SoFi, is like there's an incredible amount of like decision fatigue because I'm on it right now. And there's just so many different threads that I can go down, so many different sub-nav pages that I can go down, and that don't necessarily convert me. A lot of those are informational pages about their offerings or new releases or whatnot, but they're not calls to action to get me to become a user. And so I think it depends on product to product and industry to industry. Some flows have the unified purpose of just converting you as a user, and everything around their website is curated for that experience. They try to push you into that sign up funnel. Whereas something like SoFi, it's a much bigger decision. It's a more like they're focusing on LTV as opposed to conversions. And so if they're focusing on LTV, that
lifetime value,
sorry, they're going to try to educate you more and defer that conversion so long as it's a sustainable conversion. Like they're not going to try cheap tricks to get me in for 1 month and then have me bounce, because they want me in that ecosystem for the network effects. And so their website homepage would not be so curated to try to get me immediately into the conversion funnel, because that's not necessarily what their mission is. And so I just wanted to highlight that because there's a lot of different factors, especially like where their business plays in the space and how their business like mission or offering is, that contributes to this number and the ratio or percentage of conversions that we can expect when we see website traffic.
Yeah. And I think, whatever it is, right? I am caring less about the actual number of visits versus the trend line, right? Because whatever SoFi does usually month to month, and there could be, more pages for them to click on, or maybe out of country people that go and visit it, like you and I that want to go and just to go to their investor resources. But if that trend line is up, that's still a positive signal, regardless of whatever percent is a conversion. So I'm sure that same statistic for Robinhood also exists, where there's a percentage of them where, maybe they're floating around looking for investor resources or just to read up on their, their earn and learn section or whatever. But that trend line is still going down. Like this is the problem that I find with SoFi, and there's been a lot of hubbub in the space right now, is that
did you just say hubbub?
I did say hubbub. Yeah. I've got a young heart, but a young soul, or an old soul.
Okay, keep going.
But the scuttlebutt in the area lately is that, dude, you took me off my path. Okay.
Bro,
you're like a youth pastor.
The Jurgenmeister is in the area right now. Back in my
what was I even talking about? I don't even remember.
I think you were talking about how you get turned on by certain words because like the way
Yeah.
you're speaking
Oh,
is-
sorry. In the community. Right. Thank you, Amit. I appreciate it.
Yes.
In the community, we're talking about how our member and product numbers are actually quite shady in that they're cumulative member numbers and they're not, what is the actual numbers right now? And we don't show off monthly active user numbers. And that sort of, throws people off. Okay, well, maybe only 400,000 out of these, 5 million people are actually only, returning to the platform. But but whenever we actually look at the data, people are showing up more and more each month. I mean, the monthly active users must be higher, comparatively than whenever you compare it to Robinhood or these sorts of things. That's why I think the trend line is more important than, can we get a revenue number out of this? No. Can we get conversion rates out of this? No. But whenever we're looking at monthly active users, I think it's a great sign, regardless if it's only desktop data. I mean, we try to pull the United States president from a less than 1% survey across the country, right? And they get very, very accurate, between 3 and 6% off of how close that's going to be. Now you're taking a large part of SoFi's user base that might be on desktop, and you're saying we can't take data on what the app usage is going to be? I don't believe it.